Hello, friends. We are on a field trip today. So we're at my grandma's church. She was asked to do some flowers in a planter and asked if I could help. And I said, Grandma, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. So this planter is a big brick planter underneath a carport. It gets a lot of full sun though, because it faces the south. And that means you have to pick things that can take the full sun, take wind and breeze like we're having today, and hot air all summer long. So obviously this is a church and where people come to the entrance with the carport and everything, and you want it to look welcoming, you want it to look nice, but you also want things to have the ability to live. So that's what we're gonna do. So first what I do is assess the soil, and you can see here, this isn't actually that great a soil, and what I'm noticing is it's mostly a topsoil. Now, this is a deep planter, and it does drain well, but I don't like having topsoil in a planter, so I'm taking out some. I already took out a few scoops. Someone at one time, it looks like, put mulch on it too, which was probably to try to retain moisture, but we're gonna do some other things I think will help that. So topsoil, the reason we don't like it in a planter like this, it's too heavy. And it can sometimes hold on to moisture too much and not allow for draining properly in a container. You wanna treat a planter like this, even though it's brick and mortar, you want to treat it like a container. So we want things to drain well and have really good aeration in the soil. So I'm going to go to my favorite, my Espoma all-purpose potting soil. I love it because it's the right mix. It works well in containers. It has some great microtone in it. It always has performed well for me, whether it's vegetables, flowers. And that's what I'm going to do is try to freshen this up. And this is a good thing if you have big planters. You can have either some hardwood bark underneath halfway up, maybe some other soil, but then definitely put in and amend with a good potting soil. And that's what I'm gonna do here. So we're gonna sprinkle this in, and you can see instantly, look at the difference of this soil compared to what was here. You can see this is just so much better. And this is actually gonna be formulated for the plants, which is what matters. Now, when we're working here, look at how nice and airy this is. That's what you need for plants to really be able to grow well. So I'm gonna make sure to spread this out somewhat even. And you can see, you get the pieces of perlite in here. That's a natural product that helps soil be able to drain properly. That's what I use in my raised beds at home. So it's good to have it in a potting soil like this too. So I have that spread out. And now I wanna make sure, this is a container. It's not gonna be able to grab nutrients from native soil. We wanna make sure to add something. So we're gonna add plant tone to it. This is what I do in a lot of my containers. It has the organic nutrients that really just help kickstart, but also long-term maintain plants and give them something they can really grab onto and grow from. So I'm gonna make sure to put this in here. And what this does is it will feed somewhat the plants, but also just help be a better soil. And that's what we want. We want to help this soil be as strong and as improved as it can be. So I want to mix that in. And yes, all the tone products will have a slight smell, but you know what? That's the good stuff. That's the good stuff working in the soil. But instantly, look, we have a beautiful soil here to work with. It looks great. And now it's what? Ready to plant in. So let's get planting. So I have a conglomeration. I brought along some different plants, and honestly, I brought along too many just because I like to be prepared when I'm not at home. So I'm gonna start with, these came in the mail. So they look a little tough now, but these are really fun. They're coffee cups, and aren't they fun? I love elephant ear, but these are ones that can really do well in full sun to part shade, which is perfect for this spot. It gets pretty much full sun. In the evening and early morning, it gets some part shade. And while they look a little puny now, these really are vigorous growers and will work super well. So what I'm gonna start by doing is laying out kind of my diagram, shall we say, how I think things are gonna work, and then we'll go in and start planting. Now, I also want some color. So these have kind of I'm gonna say a dark burgundy brown stem to them with leaf, and I thought it'd be really fun to mix in. I think these are gorgeous. These are a salvia hybrid, unplugged pink. And I think they're gorgeous because they get big, they're very sturdy, so they'll withstand the wind, full sun, hardy. And look, even before they bloom, this beautiful bloom, they have a gorgeous flower head that has that deep color that I think works really well with that elephant ear. So I think I want to offset with those, kind of down the center. And you can see, yeah, this is gonna work really well. And then as I'm doing this, I'm just making sure my spacing's correct. You know, the thing is, when it comes to a place, like when it's out and about somewhere else like this, I like to make sure the planter is gonna be full, gonna be really beautiful. That's what we want. So I'm also gonna mix in another really hardy, sun-loving plant is the lemon coral sedum. You know I love this because in the heat of the summer, it just explodes and billows over the sides of things. So I'm gonna start placing a few of those around and look instantly how we're getting a play on color. So you get a bright chartreuse green, the deep color of that elfin ear, and then what will be a deep color with the salvia. And instead of making everything exactly the same, I'm gonna also mix in, you know I love to mix. I love to kind of garner different plants. So I have some licorice, just the standard licorice plant. And what I like about this, it's a Heliochrysum, as you know. I like that silvery foliage is getting some of my maple helicopters from home. So my little parting gift, those go with me everywhere. But what I like about this is, again, full sun, the blast and brunt of summer, it does super well. So I want to be able to mix these in so you really have some great color, but also that foliage that will do so well in the sun. Because you know what? We're out here in the full sun and we want to make sure that we really make it look full and bountiful. So the last thing I want to add is a variety that I love. It's a variety of Artemisia, but for me, it's an annual Artemisia, and it's the silver bullet. And what I love about it is it has a different foliage than the licorice plant, but kind of the same tones. So these will be the soft colors that will really accent each other, but be a different texture and foliage. So we're gonna set some of those around. Can you see how this is starting to work together? That to me is the fun part here, is we're starting to really fill in. Isn't it pretty? I'm kind of getting excited. This is to me the fun part where you can really start having fun and seeing how it's all gonna work. So now the fun is gonna be planting. So I'm gonna kind of take this as my diagram and I'm just gonna go down the line and we're gonna start planting. Now you know when I plant, I say this all the time, see this root ball? It's really tight. One, it's hard for them to absorb water like this, but also to wanna branch out and put new roots on, you wanna just break those up slightly. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna break them up. We're gonna put them down in the soil. Since we have that nice new soil, they plant really easily. Instantly you have a plant. So I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna keep potting these, planting these, and then it will just be ready to grow. I'm potting up this final one, and you know, the one thing I always do think is important, don't just pull a plant out of the pot. If you yank, you could very easily break it off, especially when you can see the roots are coming out, so they're gonna be really tight in there. Squeeze the bottom, squeeze it multiple times, then it just comes out. That will help you make sure you don't break off your plant that you just purchased. You don't wanna do that. So we're gonna pot this last one. What I like about this is, yes, I think what's always hard for people to imagine is once something is first planted, it doesn't look perfect. It doesn't look filled up, it doesn't look full, but guess what? This stuff is gonna grow. This stuff will keep growing. So now we wanna water it. And these things are annuals and they're gonna need water. And a deep watering, probably a few times a week, especially if it's windy like it is today, and it's hot and dry, because this also is under a carport, so guess what? We're not gonna get a ton of rain unless it rains from the side. So Grandma and Grandpa, I think they said they're gonna be in charge of watering, but maybe someone who's here every day will be too, who knows? And that's the thing, we can keep watering, making sure it's well moistened, but as long as it's kept watered, this stuff is just gonna expound and grow. It has the plant tone to give it some wonderful nutrients, has good potting soil. I can't wait, and you know what? Follow me on stories, of course, because I love to give updates. So I'll drive up here at some point and show you an update on how these things are looking. The coffee cups will get really big. These salvia will get big. The Heliochrysum, lemon coral will all get big and beautiful and start coming over the sides, which I think is what's exciting. So what do I hope this does? I hope it excites you to maybe plant something. Maybe plant it forward and plant for someone else, whether it's at a church, for your grandparents, for your mom, whoever it is, the people in your life that matter to you. Plant something. Give some kindness. That's what matters. And as always, share this video around. When you share these, it helps me a lot, but it helps others see if this guy can do it, anybody can do this. It's planting. It's easy and it's fun. So as always, check my website, wiseguide.com, for tips for chicks and recipes. Until next time, enjoy something beautiful, even if it's windy out.